India has made a significant decision within the BRICS alliance. It has refused to join an anti-dollar bloc proposed by Russia and China. This decision highlights India's independent stance in a multipolar world. It also underscores the complexities of the relationship between these emerging global powers. India's move has far-reaching implications for the future of BRICS and the global financial order. India's decision stems from a pragmatic assessment of its national interests. Aligning with an anti-dollar bloc would jeopardize its strong economic ties with the West, particularly with the United States. The United States remains a crucial trading partner and a source of foreign investment for India. Furthermore, India benefits from the stability and predictability of the current dollar-dominated system. Joining an anti-dollar alliance would be a radical departure from India's traditional foreign policy approach. India has historically maintained a policy of non-alignment. It has avoided taking sides in major power rivalries. This approach allows India to safeguard its autonomy and pursue its interests on the global stage. The decision to reject the anti-dollar bloc reflects a continuation of this strategic approach. India's move can also be seen as an attempt to maintain a balance within BRICS itself. The alliance comprises nations with diverse political systems, economic models, and foreign policy objectives. While Russia and China may seek to challenge the existing global order, India remains cautious. It prefers a more gradual and inclusive approach to reforming the international system. By rejecting the anti-dollar bloc, India asserts its role as a moderating force within BRICS. It emphasizes the importance of consensus building and cooperation. India's apprehension about potential US sanctions is a key factor driving its decision. The United States has increasingly weaponized sanctions as a tool of foreign policy. It has imposed sanctions on countries like Iran and Venezuela. These sanctions have had severe economic consequences. India, with its growing economy and aspirations for global leadership, cannot afford to risk becoming a target of such measures. The potential for secondary sanctions further complicates matters. Secondary sanctions target entities and individuals that do business with sanctioned countries. Even if India were to engage in limited transactions with Russia or China outside the dollar system, it could face penalties from the United States. This risk aversion stems from the interconnected nature of the global financial system. It also highlights the dominance of US financial institutions. India's concerns about sanctions are not unfounded. The United States has shown a willingness to enforce its economic policies, even among its allies. For instance, Turkey faced US sanctions over its purchase of a Russian missile defense system. This incident serves as a cautionary tale for India. It underscores the potential consequences of defying US foreign policy objectives. Moreover, India's own history with US sanctions in the past reinforces its cautious approach. Following its nuclear tests in 1998, India faced economic sanctions from the United States. Although these sanctions were later lifted, the experience left a lasting impact on India's foreign policy calculations. The memory of economic isolation and the challenges of navigating a sanctions regime contribute to India's reluctance to provoke the United States. India's reservations about an anti-dollar alliance resonate with other BRICS members, particularly Brazil and South Africa. Like India, these countries value their economic ties with the West. They are wary of becoming embroiled in a geopolitical confrontation that could harm their economies. This shared concern underscores the limitations of BRICS as a cohesive bloc. It highlights the diverging interests within the group. Brazil, under President Lula da Silva, has sought to re-engage with the international community after a period of relative isolation. Joining an anti-dollar bloc would contradict this foreign policy objective. It would risk alienating key trading partners like the European Union and the United States. Brazil's economy is heavily reliant on commodity exports. It needs access to global markets to sustain its growth. South Africa, as the southernmost country on the African continent, occupies a strategic position. However, it also faces economic vulnerabilities. Its economy is heavily reliant on natural resources and is susceptible to global commodity price fluctuations. Engaging in actions that could trigger sanctions or disrupt global trade would be detrimental to South Africa's economic well-being. The shared concerns among India, Brazil, and South Africa demonstrate the limits of cooperation within BRICS. While the group shares the common goal of reforming the global financial system, their approaches and timelines differ. These differences reflect the diverse economic realities and geopolitical calculations of each member state. The anti-dollar alliance proposal has exposed these divisions. It has made it clear that BRICS is not a monolithic entity. Section 4. BRICS expansion, a point of contention. Disagreements over BRICS. Expansion further highlight the internal divisions within the group. Russia and China have pushed for expanding the Bloc's membership. They see expansion as a way to increase their influence and counterbalance Western dominance. However, India, Brazil, and South Africa have expressed reservations. They fear that expanding BRICS with countries that share Russia and China's anti-Western stance would dilute the group's focus on economic cooperation. It could transform it into a platform for geopolitical rivalry. India's stance on BRICS expansion is rooted in its desire to maintain the group's focus on economic development and South-South cooperation. India views BRICS as a platform to amplify the voice of developing countries in global governance institutions. It seeks to address issues such as climate change, trade, and technology transfer. However, expanding BRICS with countries that prioritize challenging the existing order could shift the group's agenda away from these shared economic priorities. Additionally, India is wary of any move that could solidify a China-centric bloc within BRICS. China's growing economic and military might has raised concerns among its neighbors, including India. India prefers a multipolar world order where power is more evenly distributed. It seeks to avoid any arrangement that could enhance China's dominance. The disagreements over BRICS expansion underscore the strategic divergences within the group. While Russia and China view BRICS as a potential counterweight to Western power, India, Brazil, and South Africa are more cautious. They prioritize maintaining their strategic autonomy and pursuing their national interests. This difference in perspective presents a significant obstacle to achieving consensus on BRICS expansion. It raises questions about the long-term coherence and direction of the group. Section 5. The unpopular proposal of an alternative financial system. Russia's proposal to create an alternative financial system to challenge the dollar's dominance has also failed to gain widespread support within BRICS. While Russia views such a system as a way to reduce its dependence on the dollar and mitigate the impact of Western sanctions, other members are less enthusiastic. They recognize the complexity and potential risks associated with such an endeavor. India, for instance, benefits from the stability and liquidity of the dollar-based system. The Indian rupee is not yet a fully convertible currency. Creating an alternative financial system would require significant investment and regulatory changes. It could also disrupt global trade and finance, potentially harming the Indian economy. Furthermore, an alternative financial system would require a high level of trust and coordination among its members. Given the existing differences within BRICS, achieving such a level of cooperation would be challenging. The lack of a clear roadmap and the absence of consensus on key aspects of the proposed system further dampen enthusiasm for this initiative. China, despite its economic rivalry with the United States and its efforts to internationalize the yuan, has also been cautious about directly challenging the dollar's dominance. China recognizes the importance of the dollar as a reserve currency. It prefers a gradual and evolutionary approach to reforming the global financial system. The lack of consensus on an alternative financial system reflects the pragmatic approach of most BRICS members. They recognize the dominance of the dollar and the challenges of creating a viable alternative. While they may support efforts to enhance the role of their own currencies in international trade and finance, they are unlikely to undertake radical steps that could destabilize the global economy.